Welcome back. The National Council of and for Persons with Disabilities is mourning the loss of its public relations officer. The president of the council says the late PRO was selfless and a great advocate for people living with disabilities. Genevieve Gonzague reports.
The National Council of and for Persons with Disabilities says the death of one of its long-standing members and current public relations officer, Bertram Emmanuel, has left the organization with a huge hole in their hearts. President of the NCPD, Murphylus James, explained that Emmanuel will be greatly missed as he was truly a great individual.
Bertram demonstrated that people with disabilities can live a full, meaningful, independent lives. And he definitely did not believe in just sitting around waiting on handouts and public assistance. He went out and he worked, he hustled to provide for himself and his family. He was dedicated to his partner and to his 3 daughters, and to ensuring that he advocated that people with disabilities, especially wheelchair users, had full access to the businesses and recreational spaces in our city. He was very keen on ensuring that accessible ramps were put in place so that wheelchair users, women with babies on strollers, adults with disabilities would have no major difficulty.
James says Emmanuel was very passionate about his post within the NCPD and made it his duty to advocate for the betterment of all members.
In his very last news interview recently, Bertram highlighted the issues faced not just by people with disabilities, but by parents and the children in underprivileged families who lacked the requisite devices in order to effectively undertake online learning. This was the nature of Bertram's advocacy. He was not selfish at all, and he represented the needs of the vulnerable in general.
The president says Emmanuel served as an inspiration to all he met.
He is one of the key reasons that I am where I am today as a disability rights advocate. As a young boy growing up using a prosthetic leg, it was Bertram that I first encountered all those years ago at the NCPD, a man on a wheelchair, using tools and equipment to fix my artificial leg and laughing and joking and encouraging me. And Bertram was one of my very early models and inspirations in this sector. Years later, it was indeed an honor to find myself leading this very same organization which helped me and serving with Bertram, who was our PRO. And it is truly a major loss to us at the NCPD and to all people with disabilities in St. Lucia.
Bertram Emmanuel served on the current executive of the National Council of and for Persons with Disabilities from October 2020 and has been a member of the organization well over 3 decades. At the time of his death, Emmanuel was 58 years old. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzague.
The latest revision of COVID-19 protocols by the government of St. Lucia allows for in-class sessions and instruction come Term 3. Schools in St. Lucia reopened in January and had to be closed and reverted to online learning. Following the announcement, the Students' Council is speaking about the decision.
The St. Lucia National Students' Council has been in dialogue with the Ministry of Education to ensure that a repeat of January 2021 does not occur. As a council, as a representative body, we remain committed to advocating when necessary for our students. Of course, the council would have recognized the challenges, both mental and physical, that our students would have faced, and we are dedicated to ensuring that they are provided with the best possible environment to overcome these challenges.
The government of St. Lucia says schools are to follow strict protocols and regulations issued by the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education's continuity plan for schools in St. Lucia. While all details surrounding the reopening have not yet been made clear, officials are hoping that come April, teachers and students will be returning to their physical classrooms. The $15 million expansion project for the Castries Highway has been questioned by a veteran engineer who says it serves no purpose. Rochelle Gonzalez has more.
The logics behind the expansion project for the Castries Highway, which carries the price tag of $15 million, has once again been questioned, this time by an expert engineer. The project covers an ongoing issue for over 2 decades. However, it didn't take long after the plans for the 4-lane highway from Rodney Bay to Castries was revealed that questions as well as opposition was raised. John Peters spoke on the matter as a guest on last Wednesday's Hot Seat, saying that he believes the project is a waste of money and resources.
Every time I go up to Rodney Bay, I ask myself, what exactly was the thinking in doing that section of the road up there? I did transportation engineering as an option at university, so I have a fairly good idea about transportation engineering. And I will say to you, it makes no sense. It makes no engineering sense to create an intervention, a transportation intervention at those 2 points. It makes absolutely no sense because it will have very little impact, zero impact upon the issues that occur in the north of the island.
Peters went into great detail to explain why he believes the plans for the project are pointless.
You have an effect that is transferred right on the shock. And therefore, if you are thinking from a transportation perspective, one could never conclude that an intervention from that section by where the naval base towers are to the Bonte Gap could create something of significance in terms of reducing travel time, because at the end of the day, your success in a transportation intervention is the reduction in travel time. That's what you are aiming for. You want to reduce the travel time from point A to point B. That's the objective. And I will say to anybody living up in the north, when all of that is finished and you have 4 lanes or 4 little lanes, because you can't create 4 proper lanes there at all, when you have your 4 little lanes coming down, check on your own, take a watch and check the time now that you take from that point to Castries and the point thereafter. And you will realize that your saving in time is absolutely zero. And therefore we would have spent $20 million in a transportation initiative with zero effect.
On the flip side, Peters said that he doesn't believe that all roadworks being undertaken are pointless.
I would also say that there is some good work going on in some of the road networks on the island. Whether it makes sense to focus on your tertiary road network at the sacrifice of your secondary road network, I would say to you, I don't agree with that. And a lot of the focus is on the tertiary network, right? Just outside, if you go there on the morning, you'll see it. I've seen some lanes paved in current that are in a better condition than the Borderlay highway, right? So you have to ask yourself, okay, if you're going into an intervention and I'm spending money on road development, what is the objective? Is the objective to keep 1 or 2 voters inside of a little enclave happy? Or is the objective to improve on your network? An improvement on your network will begin on your secondary and your primary network.
The engineer, who is also a well-known social commentator, said as long as the spending has a clear objective, then he will have no issues on the matter. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
Director of the Borderlay Correctional Facility, Hilary Herman, is addressing an age-old topic that has lingered along with the reputation of prison life in St. Lucia. Herman, whilst appearing as a guest on the Hot Seat, said sexual bullying at the prison is not an issue under his watch as prison director. He says whilst he cannot say categorically that there are no incidents of sexual activity, methods implemented make this a difficulty.
Prison on its own carries a laundry list of stigmas that have been in existence over the decades all across the globe. One of the most notorious stigmas is the threat of sexual assault behind bars. The common fear of dropping the soap, for example, has become synonymous to sexual assault, and St. Lucia is by no means immune to the stigma, the fear, and the rumors. Director of the Borderlay Correctional Facility, Hilary Herman, tried to quash this stigma when he appeared on this week's Hot Seat, stating that sexual bullying is not an issue with the BCF, at least not under his watch.
Well, I will tell you, in the many years of me being at the facility, I have not had one complaint from an inmate. I have not had one, not one. So if it's alive, I don't know about it. But of course, the rumors and gossip are there.
On the same note, Herman said he cannot speak with the same certainty for consensual interaction. However, he said measures implemented makes this unlikely.
Now, I will not tell you that there is not consentment. Now, how we prevent it? You have most of our cells are 2- and 4-man cells. Right now, particularly in the remand unit, our 2-man cell is now a 4-man cell. Our 4-man cell is now a 6-man cell. The way you prevent that is having this many people. And so to have a problem like that occur, you have everyone agree to it. And the chances of that are slim. So that's how we avoid that. So I will tell you, I have not had one complaint that someone was forcibly raped or been taken advantage of by other inmates. I've not had that. I will not sit here and tell you it never happened. I will not tell you that, but I've not had one complaint.
Herman has served 3 terms as the BCF director from 2002 to 2008, from 2009 to 2014, and his current stint, which began in October 2019. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Rochelle Gonzalez.
Stay with us. There's more news after the break.